How are you today? So, yesterday I had a very interesting spiritual moment. And what happened was there was a gentleman who is a friend who had called to chat with Carl. And Carl was discouraged because this gentleman does not agree with supporting my children and people like my children. And it's not that he disagrees with the theology or whatever. He picks up the most hurtful things about the rainbow community and digs deep and digs hard. And any church that shows any kind of compassion and understanding is a church that has fallen to culture. And so he talked about his girlfriend's church because they went there on Sunday, and they talked about how the pastor wasn't afraid to say the truth and whatever, right? And so he really discouraged Carl because it wasn't a conversation. It was a hit you over the head moment. And Carl's like, these are my kids. These are my new kids. And what do I do with this conversation? So I instantly become Mama Bear. I'm like, I'm going to listen to this sermon online. I'm going to contact that pastor and tell him the stats about suicide that he's going to add to, right? Like, I wasn't actually going to do all this stuff, but I was going to listen to it. And I was really frustrated that a pastor in this area would be so cruel. At least if he was what this gentleman had said to Carl. And I was just going to, if I needed to email, I was going to be polite about it. I was. But I was like, I understand people that disagree with where I have landed after years of study and prayer. Deep, deep prayer. I know where I've landed. I don't owe anyone an explanation. But as a mom, I'm going to say this is why I would never be able to send my kids to your youth group. Like I could explain that a family like ours needs something different from what your church is offering. So just so you're aware, we do exist, right? And so I was just going to go at it from that angle. The message was nothing like it was portrayed, the sermon. And the part where they talked about the rainbow community was in a 6-minute segment included with other issues or topics. We'll call it topics. Now, I disagree with where this gentleman lands. I understand why he lands where he lands. I disagree with him. And yet, he was kind. He was gentle. He was not at all, sorry, I'm boiling eggs for lunch. He was not at all what he was portrayed to be. And I was thinking about it, and I stopped and I prayed, and I'm like, God, I got angry and I reacted. I got reactionary before I got to the bottom of the truth, like before I got to the truth. And I asked God to help make me more detective and actually go digging. Be willing to listen to a sermon that I don't agree with or think I don't agree with. Be willing to do that before I get carried away with emotion. And then I thought about the source of this turmoil, and I thought, actually, there's something in that person's life that this pastor had spent almost 40 minutes talking about. But he picked up the 6-minute segment and he used an old word, and that is abomination. He used that word to describe Carl's new stepkids to Carl, which is not kind. The pastor never, ever used that word. Never. The pastor was kind. I disagree with him, but he was kind. He was gentle. And I thought sometimes people pick up on negativity because they're actually being prompted over here to grow and change and rethink some things. And so they don't like that feeling. And so they go over here and I can worship with somebody who's different than me. I can insist that you give my children dignity and the value that the Almighty Creator gave them. I can insist you treat them with respect. But I don't expect you to agree with every single thing that comes out of my mouth. I'm still working on it. I'm still praying. I'm still passionately investigating. But the one thing that is certain is that each person, each human being has been created in God's image, and we need to treat them with the utmost respect. My anger made way to concern. There's a little bit of pity. This guy's going to end up alone if he's so cruel to everyone around him. And God said, no. Compassion, Marilyn, compassion. Move away from all those other things. Pray for that man. And I thought, wow. It's really important. Not because I want to pray him into believing the same way I believe, but I would like him to soften so that he can have healthy relationships without, and I'm talking friendships, without people going, well, who are you? You're so arrogant and rude. You know? I was thinking about if I have two groups of friends that I would like to see, but I don't have the time to see everyone, could I just have a dinner party? See everyone. And I was literally thinking, could I introduce that person to my other people without those other people being hurt? I want to be the person who can be at a dinner party filled with strangers and I'm a safe place. That's what I want to be. Safe for everyone. Everyone who's investigating, everyone who's learning. Just like Grandma's table. I want to be a safe place. Are you a safe place today? Or do you have to be right? Only you can answer that. Know that I love you, regardless of the answer. And you're welcome at Grandma's table. Always.